What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Ari Love, and also your foodie bae, Ari. And today we have Chef Supreme as my guest on Outside the Box. This is our Foodie Talks edition because, you know, I love me some food, but I love to talk to all different types of people who have input on different, you know, just dietary choices and things like that. So I'm really excited to talk to Chef Supreme, and so we're going to hop right into it. So, Chef Supreme, how did you become interested in raw veganism, and what inspired you, you know, to host a retreat to help others transition into this lifestyle?
So what inspired me was I went on my first juice fast when I got to college, and I noticed it was like a 3 to 5 day juice fast. I noticed how good my energy felt after just 3 to 5 days without eating food, and so that kind of piqued my curiosity, and I started researching on the internet, like what are the cleanest diets to eat. And then I came across raw, and then I got real creative and just started to make some dishes, and you know it was a wrap from there, you know.
Wow. So I know you said you went on your juice fast for about 3 to 5 days. Just like tell me, like keep it real, like the first 2 days, was it super hard? Like, did you feel like you were gonna collapse, or like was your stomach cramping? Like, how does it feel to go on a fast for that long?
So the first day was pretty cool. I was pretty much like, yeah, I got this. But then the day number 2, when I actually, you know, that impulse to eat some food came through, it was some work. I realized that I didn't probably have enough juice on that fast that day. And so, you know, all the cravings and stuff like that came up. But honestly, I just focused on the fact that I would be, you know, creating more health for myself, more energy, more magnetism. And that kind of just kept me focused. But day 3, day 4, that was like pure bliss.
Okay, and so when you decided to do the fast, were you vegan before, or were you already raw, alkaline? Like, what was your go-to dietary?
At that point, I was definitely eating. I think, yeah. So at that point, I was basically eating the standard American diet. You know, I hadn't even gotten to like vegan or pescatarian or vegetarian or anything like that yet. But yeah, I was pretty much eating a regular diet.
Wow, and you said you never had fasted before that, right? Like juicing, or did you fast before?
Nah, that was my first fast. What it was, I actually, you know, started hanging with some seniors, and they were from Philly. So, you know, it's like a big thing not to eat pork and to make sure that you're eating clean. Mm-hmm. And so I was in the cafeteria in school eating a pepperoni pizza, and they like, yo, stereotypical, whatever you can think of as, you know, Philly Islamic Muslim associated with pork and all of that type of stuff. So I ate pepperoni pizza in front of them, and they was like, nah, have you fasted before? I was like, nah, I heard about it though. And so boom, like literally like the next couple of days we started to prepare for the juice fast, and it was a wrap.
Wow. So they helped you prepare for that fast?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good that you had support, because I think that's like one of my biggest fears. Like, I know I have support if I would go on like a juice fast. It's just, I don't know, probably like the more people you have by your side, it definitely is probably easier.
Mm-hmm.
And can you walk us through the process of creating one of your raw vegan dishes? Like, how do you approach flavor combinations and your presentation? Because if you guys go on his Instagram page, the dishes, they look phenomenal. They look so tasty. You actually forget that, like, literally it's just fruits and vegetables. So yeah, how do you come up with that?
So I basically, it got real simple. I basically just started to ask myself, where do I want to go in the world today with my palate, right? And so if that's Asia, you know, I'm a foodie too, right? So I love different types of food. So I'm kind of familiar, for the most part, with different seasoning combinations from different parts of the world. So I asked myself where I'm trying to go in the world, and it might be Southeast Asia, right? And so I know for a fact I love coconut soup, tonka soup from over there. And so I could start my meal with basically the simple part of this is that you can still use all of the same seasonings. It's really just, I'm just not cooking anything, and I'm making something in a way where I know it's going to be basically like a tasty glorified salad, So I'll just start whipping up some type of coconut milk base. I know that they love to use red chili pepper, garlic, and ginger, and so I'll incorporate that into my dressing. But I would say what makes it really easy, to be honest with you, is being able to really just master a dressing. If you can master a dressing, then you can master the flavor profile of whatever you're trying to go to, and you can raw veganize it from there.
Wow, that's really good advice. Because honestly, I went plant-based for almost a year, and then I kind of got sucked back into the typical American diet. I don't eat pork, and I haven't eaten pork in such a long time. But when I was plant-based, I did feel good about myself. I tried to explore as many recipes as I could, for sure. And then I wanted to take it a little further and try maybe alkaline or vegan, and even the raw vegan. So I definitely felt like I wanted to try it, but I was like, I don't know if I can go that far. But that's good advice.
For sure. I tell people to take it simple, and it's really, it's really, I don't have the type of energy where, I'm telling people yo, you need to eat raw or anything like that. For me, it's real simple in terms of just telling people yo, incorporate more fruits in the morning time, and let fruit be the last thing that you eat during the day. And that natural hydration and the water, your cells love that water, and so over time it'll actually start to change your taste bud because you're taking in live fresh food. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what you're saying is really clicking for me. It's making a whole bunch of sense. And I love, you guys, that Chef Supreme, he does not beat you over the head about, being raw vegan. That's what I really love, because some things that I see on my feed, they kind of, some people try to make you kind of feel guilty, how you're eating. And so that's why I love the content on your page. You guys got to check his page out. And so what are some of the common misconceptions about raw veganism, and how do you address them?
So I would definitely say, and this is for veganism in general. The interesting thing is I don't really call myself a raw vegan or anything like that, just in my day-to-day. But obviously for social media and stuff like that, I gotta identify it, right? Because I'm one of the people that don't like titles. But I would say that the common misconception in terms of raw veganism and veganism is protein, the protein myth. Where do you get your protein?
Right.
And I had to do a lot of research, and what people are thinking of as protein is literally just excessive grains, right? Excessive beans or animal meats, But the simple fact is that, we take in, everything has protein in it. For it to be a living organism or a plant or anything like that, it needs protein to actually exist, because protein are the building blocks, you know what I'm saying, of an organism or of a plant or anything like that. But what happens is that the food that you eat, you're not eating protein. Your body literally breaks down everything that you eat and back into the amino acids that make a protein. And so your liver, after you eat whatever you eat, your liver sifts and finds those amino acids and then reassembles it into the proteins that you need. And so as far as protein, that is definitely a common misconception, but I'm at a nice healthy weight. I know plenty of raw vegans that are at a nice healthy weight and they're flourishing, and so that's definitely a main misconception. We basically have I would say that, in terms of that misconception, we have an excessive use of protein in our culture, right?
Right.
Less than efficiency of protein. I haven't known any raw vegans at all that have ever went to the hospital because they weren't getting enough protein. I do, however, know people that, have eating disorders, not to pick at anybody, but this is just the facts, right? I do know people that eat too much. I know people that eat too much beans, eat too much animal flesh, if that is even a thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Eat too much grains. There's a lot of people that are starchitarians. There are a lot of people that, and it just kind of gets into common misconceptions about like what is actual health, what is true health. So I'd say that's definitely a main misconception, and that's how I address it is literally through education. I also show people that's like the main thing, right? Showing people how to make the food and coaching in one-on-one sessions and stuff like that, right? But the education piece I see is a major thing because there's a lot of stuff that we're miseducated on when it comes to health, right? And a lot of, doctors and, medical industry and stuff like that, whether they know it or not, are causing a lot of pain based upon miseducation, right? Like calcium and protein, and all of these simple things that we thought we knew, but we have to rethink.
Oh man, tell me about it. I feel like I didn't really start learning until I was able to like really think on my own, like as a young adult. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy because I know growing up, I thought, you need cow's milk, the got milk commercials, things like that. Until I was old enough to just really make that decision to where like I don't drink cow's milk. I breastfed my son when I last had him because I thought it was like, I felt it was really important to, of course, just like get my milk. Like why would I started to think like that, like why would I give him formula? But and so, yeah, there's like so many misconceptions, and then also about the weight thing, especially kind of, in the Black community. I don't want to like really say that, but there is, because whenever I were to talk about, just veganism, plant-based, anything like that, you might hear comments like, "Yo, you're gonna fade away," because they're thinking that you're gonna lose a bunch of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I did want to say this one thing, but what kind of blows the protein myth out of the water for me is if you think about, a developing baby or embryo or something like that, and the mother is just giving the baby breast milk, but you see this massive explosion of weight, of size, of muscles, of their body, literally off of breast milk.
Right.
So that's crazy. If you actually sit and think about it, it's actually saying that, the human body came here completely intelligent of what it needs to do to keep itself maintained and sustained. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like you don't see in our culture, like, I mean, we might, right? But like protein shakes for mothers to be. Like you see milk formulas, right? But that's kind of like a new invention. The natural way, obviously, is for a mother to lactate and feed the baby off their own breast milk. But that breast milk is not produced like literally by eating animal meats or eating excessive grains. You know what I'm saying? It takes everything into account. But I know plenty of, second generation vegan children that were born, mine included, right? Mm-hmm. That, my children's mother, like she hasn't eaten meat in a very, very long time. And so our children were literally born off of vegan breast milk, right? Mm-hmm. And they've never had any type of protein issue. So it really just challenges that.
Wow, that's amazing. And then I just, I have so many questions, but I know like you mentioned that you do have children. And so are your children are also on a raw vegan diet, I assume?
No. They're not on raw vegan diet. That's actually really, really hard because I don't want to say really hard, but we started them out obviously on raw foods, right? Because I think the first thing that, children should eat, and I think our natural diet, I have a little bit of an extremist in me, but it's not extreme to where it's like offensive. Like my extremism is that I think that fruit is human beings' primary food. So that's what they started off on. And then, over time we started to incorporate like the chickpea omelets and stuff like that, and like, just veggie mixtures and stuff like that as they got older. But no, they eat fruit pretty much, every day for breakfast and throughout the day. And then they're always eating salads because I pretty much make salads, you know what I'm saying? That's what I do. But yeah, no, they're not exclusively raw vegan, but they pretty much know, like if I be like, yo, this week we about to be raw, they know what time it is.
Okay. That's so cool. Man, that's amazing. That's great. And you've helped many people transition to raw veganism. Looking at your page, it looks like you've helped celebrities out. NLE Choppa and other celebrities. What advice do you have for people who are considering like making the switch? I think you said earlier the easiest thing to do is probably like just take it one day at a time, maybe substitute like one meal for just like raw, but what other approaches do you think you would advise?
Definitely really taking time to master the art of transitioning into the diet. The raw vegan diet is really something that you come to appreciate. So it's really hard this is just my experience, it's really hard for like if you just eating the standard American diet to go straight into a raw vegan diet. One, because your taste buds are not going to be the same, and you probably won't appreciate it as much, right? And then two, your body actually needs time to transition to eat and take on more watery foods. You know what I'm saying? So for instance, like one of my tips is really if you want to transition into vegan diet or even a raw vegan diet, we need to fast and cleanse the body. And that looks like, me really like realistically, I tell my clients that and take them through this journey of like a 21 day to 28 day type of cleanse with herbs and raw foods so that you can purify your body and get the toxins out. Because the more, toxins and fermented food that we have in our colon, this could go so deep, but I'm going to condense it. The more toxins and fermented food that we have in our colon, the more cravings that we have, because basically every time that fermented food or toxins hit the bloodstream, it causes a craving. So what we do is cleanse the body through herbs and mono fruits, like just eating like all grapes or all oranges or all apples at certain times, and basically cleanse the body and clean the filters and clean the pipes and all of that stuff and get it ready to actually eat vegan or actually eat raw vegan. And what that does is it puts you in a way better position to actually moderate and regulate the diet, because if you jump smack into it, you run the risk of developing eating disorder or binging. You run the risk of going back to the diet because, to be real, and this, that a lot of us, we eat for emotional comfort, right? So I definitely tell people to master the art of transitioning, which looks like phasing into the diet, which looks like eating, starting with one big salad a day, then a couple salads a day, and then, maybe half the week you're eating vegan food, and the other half you're eating, you might be eating animal proteins, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, just taking it slow. But definitely the number one tip would be to transition into the diet through doing some type of herbal cleanse.
Wow. Okay. And then just for the people out there listening, and personally for myself, what the hell is a Creighton?
Say it again.
I said, what is a Creighton? A Creighton? What is that?
Oh, a craving.
Oh, craving. Oh, I thought you said Creighton. I'm over here trying to figure out.
You might be hearing my accent. I'm from the DMV, so I got a little accent with me.
Right. Okay.
A craving. Yeah, so a craving. I'm
over here creating new words.
That's okay. That's okay, though.
That is so funny. And so how did you get to prepare food for celebrities? Like, how did you run into NLE Choppa and other celebrities?
Honestly, most people find me on TikTok, IG, or Clubhouse. I've worked with a couple NFL players and people, associated with athletes in general, and also an elite family specifically on TikTok. And it's crazy. It really gets into like passion and purpose. I started to love, I always really loved making food, but I really started to see like I really enjoyed making food, and so I started to get creative with it. And I don't know if this makes sense, but as I was getting creative with it, like years ago, like I had this inner smile or this inner smirk, because I'm like, yo, like this is really amazing. Like I'm like, do y'all see this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how amazing this looks and how delicious this tastes. And after so many confirmations of people saying, the salads taste good, the dressing tastes good, the desserts taste good. I started to just really just make content and just show people the stuff. And it's interesting because before celebrities and stuff and people like that started to see it, I already kind of had a knowing that this is going to attract a lot of people, not for the sake of me doing it to attract people, but I just understand and see how much people actually are ready to take their health in their hands. And if you have, fire looking food and it's raw vegan, and it's because raw is pretty much the closest it gets to detoxing and the healthiest food option that there is. And if you can make it taste good, then you win it, because people every day are going to hospitals. Almost everybody, grandma I know got something going on, or grandfather got something going on health related. And so if you can make it taste good and heal somebody's body and solve their problem, then it's winning. And I knew that that's what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely, because your Instagram feed, it showcases a wide variety of dishes, like your raw vegan pizza, the barbecue jackfruit bowls. That's what definitely caught my eye. I was like, wait a minute, that's not me. Hold up, because, I tried messing with the jackfruit and it wasn't looking nothing like that. So man, hats off to you. You really do pull people in with just, the presentation of your dishes. It's I don't even have to taste it to know that it tastes good. It just looks so good. Wow. And how do you keep your creativity with your recipes? Because you're on fire right now, but it's how do you stay motivated? What do you use as inspiration? Do you just kind of think about what you used to eat when it was animal based, and you just try to figure out how can I turn this into a fire raw vegan dish? What is your process?
So I definitely, it really, to be honest with you, it starts in the morning time, with just my regimen and my intention, right? So for the most part, not every day, you know what I'm saying? But I start off with an intention about what I'm trying to create today. And that's not just for vegan food, but it absolutely maps over into the culinary creativity. And so honestly, I will literally just get an impulse from spirit to recreate something or just try something out. And a lot of my failed attempts actually become, the second time I do it, actually becomes something really amazing and really great. And so I really love foods that I used to eat. I love barbecue. I love barbecue. I love Pop-Tarts. I love Asian food. So I make a lot of those. And, once you get really good at one thing, for me that was dressing. I'm not gonna say I'm the best raw vegan chef or anything like that, but I'm extremely good at dressings. I don't know if too many people can touch my dressings. I might have to fly to Cali right quick and let you see something.
Yeah. You might have to.
Once you master one good thing, I realize how that just translates into everything. And so it kind of goes back to what I was saying about the dressing. The dressing for me is the central pillar of my process, because I can build a team around my dressing. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a Michael Jordan. I know everything else can be in place if I can make this one dressing. You know what I'm saying? And so that literally looks like, me being able to make a Mexican dressing, or a Thai dressing, or an Indian flavor dressing, or a Trini curry dressing. And I can just literally just build stuff around that, so that really helps my process. To be able to even master a dressing, I feel like is a supreme art.
Wow, I love it. Oh my goodness. And so what would you say about affordability? Because I think there's a misconception that to be healthier, to eat healthier foods, you gotta break the bank, because we have these big corporations like Whole Foods and Sprouts and things, and I feel like there's a misconception that you kind of have to have money to be on that type of wave as a raw vegan, or even as a vegan as well.
Yeah, so it's to be honest with you, it's both, right? It is, you do definitely run into some expensive stuff, and that also is dependent upon where you're at and where you're shopping, because Whole Foods is we can call Whole Foods whole check, because it might take your whole out of there, right? But to be honest with you, I've realized there's a couple of things. One, international farmers market are your friend. Spanish grocery stores are your friend. European grocery stores are your friend. Asian grocery stores are your friend. And what I realized is that you can get a good amount of fruit for a fair, decent price, right? I'm not talking about Whole Foods. I'm talking about just international grocery stores. The other thing is stuff like Sam's Club, Costco, and different like wholesale. I don't know if y'all have that in Cali, right? Do y'all have that?
Yeah, we have Costco and Sam's Club as well.
Oh, okay. Boom. So like the bulk stuff. So even like frozen fruit, like that's pretty much where I get my frozen fruit from. Now I used to go to like Whole Foods and stuff like that when I was crazy, but now I'm not crazy anymore, and I realize where I need to go. So that's one thing. Also, too, this is something that is very, very effective if there's like a lot of farmers where you live at. You can literally go to farmers and ask them for a percentage of their vegetables and pay them like on a weekly basis. And in most cases, it works out to be cheaper than if you go to the grocery store and get some vegetables.
Wow.
Right? So
that's some good advice, especially for me living in California. Like, I'm literally in an area where there's a ton of farmers, a ton of them. Like, we have a farmer's market every Saturday too. So, wow, that makes a lot of sense.
And also too, like, it just depends on like how, like all things in life, right? It rewards you at the depth at which you seek it, right? So even asking farmers, like I've even asked, people for like, can I have your ugly persimmons or your ugly tomatoes and ugly, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So it can go there, you know what I'm saying? You can really get a lot for your money if you know where to look. So my main takeaway from that would definitely be the international farmers market, shopping bulk at places like Costco, and then very directly approaching farmers. Like, they got enough food, you know what I'm saying? Enough fruit and vegetables and healthy produce and stuff like that to go around. And many times they actually will work with you if you literally just ask them,
Nice. Okay. So you guys heard that. Literally, closed mouths don't get fed. So listen to what Chef Supreme is saying. Talk to the farmers. Also, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, to go raw vegan. You can go to Costco. You can go to Sam's Club. Definitely the farmers market is the place to be. And so, yeah, that's all great tips. And before we let you go, Chef Supreme, is there anything that you want to tell the people as far as like maybe your next retreat, or how they can get in contact with you if they want to know more about how to transition to raw veganism?
Absolutely. So I have 2 pages on Instagram, and they are A Vegan's Paradise and Shri, SRI Neptune 137. Also, my website is Supreme Essence PFW. That just stands for Plant Food and Wellness. But Supreme Essence plantfoodandwellness.com. As far as next retreats, I am literally at the drawing board because I'm trying to figure out if this makes sense. But I'm actually very strongly considering doing a Panama trip, a raw vegan and juicing retreat in Panama with one of my mentors, actually. And then also later in the year, most likely around December, doing a raw vegan and juice retreat in Puerto Rico. So yeah. And then other than that, you guys can approach me on the website or send me a message, because I also do one-on-one coaching and things of that nature. So yeah.
That is awesome. Yes, I will definitely keep myself up to date with what you're doing. One of those retreats definitely sounds like something I would love to do, and I'm sure a lot of other people would love to do. So please go follow Chef Supreme. You heard his Instagram handles, and yeah, just thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me. And until then, everyone, just keep thinking outside the box.